Welcome back to the Angels here on MLB The Show 25. And as you can see, we are here a little bit into the month of May. It is May 10th currently. And the Angels have been playing a little bit better as of recently, but still not where we want to be. We're not trying to be well below 500. That has not been the goal this season. Very disappointing start to the year so far, but you can see we did win this series on the road at Houston, but then we followed up with a loss to the Yankees at home. Before that, there was a loss to the A's, then to Texas. We beat Washington, and we beat Toronto. But overall, has not been the greatest of stretches. And as you can see right now, taking a look at the American League West standings, we are currently on an L2, 4-6 in our last 10, well below 500, a run differential that's in the negatives. Not where we want to be sitting at the moment. If you look at the team rankings, though, they do think we have one of the better pitching staffs in baseball. That is not just AL rankings, that is Major League Baseball rankings. So they think we have a top 10 staff. It's just the offense and the defense the game does not respect. They think we're 17th best overall, but so far the team has not been playing that way. So we're hoping they can turn things around as the season continues to progress here. And we're going to need some of the bats to really pick things up here. I don't think that our bats are as bad as the game is rating them to be. I think Shawnuel is a good bat. He's been playing very well, as he does. I think Neto's a good bat. He has not been playing well. Hoppy has been not playing well. Ha-Seong Kim has been very disappointing to the start of his tenure here with the Angels. We signed him to a 4-year deal here in the offseason, and he's already had a bunch of minuses across the board. -3 to both his contact versus righties and lefties, and then -2 to his discipline. Already? We're in year 1 of a 4-year deal here. I mean, this has not gotten off to the best start here. And if I remember correctly, in the projections for the season in that opening day episode, I'm pretty sure it was projecting that Ha-Seong Kim was going to have our best WAR on the team. So far, that is not looking like it's going to be the case. And then we look at some of our other guys here. Dylan Carlson's been struggling. If he continues to struggle, it might be Reggie Coffey time up here in the big leagues. If we get to like mid-June, around there, and he's still struggling, it might be Reggie Coffey time. Christian Moore is struggling in that second base spot, playing every day. Mike Trout's the only other hitter who's doing well on this roster. It's really him and Shawnuel and nobody else. Perez has been terrible. Lamont Wade has been really bad in his strong side of the platoon, but then Meade's been really good in his short side of the platoon against lefties. Campero as the backup catcher has been awful. Collins has been like whatever as a bench player. He's been fine. And then Arias, only 12 ABs, has been really good. So are we at the point now where we're going to have to start moving on from Christian Moore and giving Arias that time at second base? I don't know, but we need these bats to start turning things around. Another thing that's worth mentioning is that Andres Rivera, honestly, he could have found himself in the starting rotation. He probably still can at some point this season, but his season has gotten off to the rough start here as he is on the IL with a shoulder tear. He's been on there for the majority of the AAA campaign. You can see here he threw 3 starts, was very good in those 3 starts. It looks like that's probably more so like 2 starts, and then probably got hurt early on in his 3rd start, so really just 2 starts, but was very good in those 15 and a third innings pitched here. And he still looks like he's on track to be a very good starting pitcher here. 77 overall at the moment. He's an A potential. I believe he's a 99 potential. I believe the game has him rated as the best prospect in Major League Baseball, or in pro baseball. The unfortunate side, injuries might be a problem with him. 60 durability, not what you want for a guy you took 3rd overall and you're hoping can be a big part of your rotation. Now, he is still young. He is possibly able to bump that up a bit as his career progresses, especially if we focus on training that. But, it's never going to be like he's super durable. And then, like I mentioned, we might be starting to approach Reggie Coffey time here. If we start to get into like the halfway through June, I want to give Carlson a little bit more time, but if he can't figure it out in the starting lineup here, it's going to be Reggie Coffey time, because he's down there in AAA just raking. A 900 OPS, he's walking more than he's striking out. He's checking every box. So it's sooner than later Reggie Coffey time, I'm starting to think. The struggling Angels here in Orange County playing host to one of the American League's best in the Baltimore Orioles, as Jack Kahanowitz is going to be the one making the start here for the Halos, his 8th of the 2027 campaign. We'll start things off top half of the first inning. Colton Cowser almost taking off Kahanowitz's head with that one. Gets on to start the action, and then Gunnar Henderson comes up. Cowser goes and swipes second base to get himself into scoring position. And Gunnar Henderson says, "Definitely don't Google my high school," as he grounds this one up the middle. That's going to be the 1-0 Orioles lead to start things off with an RBI single. And toeing the slab for the Orioles on the day was the New Jersey man, Zach Gallen, making his 9th start. Take a look at the Angels lineup on the day he'll be facing. And in the bottom half of the second inning, Zach Neto welcomes him to Orange County with an absolute blast to left center field. This one's off the rocks out there, ties this one up at 1 run apiece. We move things on all the way to the top of the 5th, where Kahanowitz is still on the bump here, and Heston Kjerstad's going down that left field line opposite way, hops up over the wall, ground rule double. So he's in scoring position, as then Coby Mayo, imagine me saying that in a DMV accent, I can't do it, not even going to try. But he grounds one up the middle, scores the run, makes it a 2-1 Orioles lead, and then a pitch to DJ Stewart, back with the Orioles, gets in the dirt. O'Hoppy's throw gets past the guy at second, so the runner moves up, but then luckily Stewart does strike out. But then Jackson Holliday comes up, and he was not able to be retired as he grounds one past the diving glove of Neto at third base, and that makes it a 3-1 Orioles lead. Luckily, Kahanowitz would clutch up and strike out Cowser as he limits the damage there. So a 3-1 game heading into the bottom of the 5th here, where Dylan Carlson, against his former club, chops one through the right side of the infield. That's a base knock. And then Kim would go down on a nasty breaking ball, but Carlson would swipe second base, get himself into scoring position. Brings up Luis Arias, who pokes one on the outside part of the plate. Little dink and dunk action into right field as Carlson scores. It's now a 3-2 ball game. And then Nolan Schanuel does what Nolan Schanuel does. Takes one to the gap. Left center this time. It's an RBI double as this one ties the game here at 3 runs apiece in the 5th inning. We move things on top of the 6th here. Kahanowitz still on the bump. Little shitty chopper from Henderson gets through for a base knock to start off the inning. Then it's Basayo also chopping one through the infield as it's back-to-back base knocks. And now Kahanowitz gets a pop fly here from Jordan Westberg to right field. That would tag up the runner at second base, so it's runners on the corners here for the Orioles with 1 out, and Yusei Kikuchi coming in out of the bullpen here to face a bunch of left-handers for the Orioles. The first one being Heston Kjerstad, who flares one over to first base. Wade makes the play. That's 2 down. And then Coby Mayo gets rung up on a cutter. So Kikuchi keeps it scoreless at keeps it tied at a 3-3 game. Move things on to the 8th inning, where Yenier Cano comes on here for Baltimore. And Nolan Schanuel doing what he does. Professional hitter, folks. Outside pitch. Just rips that one down the left field line, a base knock, gets on base, and then Lamont Wade hitting one over the head of the right fielder. Schanuel not the fleetest of feet, though, so he ends up just at third base, so it's second and third. The Orioles decide to intentionally walk Zach Neto, who is already homered in this game, but then with Logan O'Hoppy at the dish, an 0-2 pitch gets past the catcher, Basayo. It's a 4-3 ball game. They take the lead on a wild pitch, and they're hoping that's enough because O'Hoppy goes down on just a silly pitch, and then Carlson gets locked up on a changeup. So still just a 4-3 game, 1-run lead as Ben Joyce enters looking for his 9th save of the season, as he would strike out Kjerstad on the cutter for out number 1. And then with 2 outs, it brings up Luke Raley, who goes down on the splitter, so Ben Joyce successfully shuts the door on the Orioles as the Angels eke out of this one, taking the lead on a passed ball, a wild pitch in the bottom of the 8th, as Ben Joyce gets the close. It's a 4-3 final here for the Angels. Nolan Schanuel was your player of the game. He had 2 doubles and a single on a day with a 3-hit performance. Zach Neto had a home run for the Halos. And Yusei Kikuchi coming out of the bullpen against this very lefty-heavy Orioles lineup. 2 2/3, only 1 hit, 4 strikeouts, no walks, and no runs. Gets the W on the day as well. Kahanowitz felt like he pitched well, despite the 3 runs he gave up, 5 1/3, still pretty solid. And before we move things on to the next game, it is time to do a check-in down with the AA Rocket City Trash Pandas, taking a look at our second-round pick from the 2026 first-year player draft in Angelo Manuel, the man who I'm constantly wanting to call Angelo Manuelo, because it just makes sense to me. The first baseman / left fielder, 18 years old, out of Venezuela. He hits right-handed, also throws right-handed, currently sitting at a 73 overall and a B potential. And the thing about Manuel is that he is already looking like a major league ready bat, already looking like he could very much hack it at the big league level, especially against left-handed pitching, but no slouch against righties either. He has 80 contact and 70 power against lefties, with a respectable 61 and 53 against right-handed pitching. Also, very respectable plate skills to start his pro career with a 55 vision and a 65 discipline, so already pretty solid, and those will continue to go up as his career progresses, obviously, especially since I tend to train I believe it's the hitting coach session for most guys, as I like to get those plate skills up as much as possible. And Manuel is a good defender at first base as well. He's got a 64 fielding with an 80 reaction, so he's no slouch over there at first base. Not that you need a great defender over there, but he is a solid defender at that position, and those ratings could even translate well to being a decent left fielder. Now, he does have a bit of a noodle arm at 45 strength and 27 accuracy, but, obviously that's not going to matter at all at first base, but if he does ever end up playing significant time in left field, that is going to cost him a bit playing in the outfield, but we are planning to have a guy like Reggie Coffey, who has a noodle arm as well, playing left field long-term for us, so it's not like we're opposed to playing a weak arm in left field. And as far as the plan with Angelo goes, he could be in the bigs right now for us. The thing is that we have a first base position in place with a platoon of Lamont Wade and Curtis Mead at first base against righties and lefties respectively. Lamont Wade, though, is an expiring contract. He's getting into his mid-30s at this point in his career, so I don't think he's going to be somebody that we are bringing back for next season. And because of that, the plan is for Angelo Manuel to be our opening day first baseman next season, with Curtis Mead backing him up on the big league roster. So that's the plan. Hopefully that's just what's going to happen, as Manuel is very much looking like he can be a big league first baseman for us this season, especially next year after a full season of minor league development here, just raking in AA. The Angels hitting the road here as they end up in the Midwest, taking on the Royals here at Kauffman Stadium at the Giant parking lot, as Alec Marsh is going to be the one making his 10th start of the season here for Kansas City. Take a look at the Halos lineup he'll be facing, listed 1-2-9. We'll start things off top half of the third inning with Isaac Collins ripping one up the middle off the pitcher Marsh. Ricochets over to second base, infield single for Collins, and then no time to rest for Marsh as Nolan Schanuel rips one down the right field line. That's going to be another 2-bagger for the Angels leadoff man, as that scores Collins all the way from first base. It's a 1-0 Halos lead. Caden Dana was on the bump here for the Angels on the day, making his 10th start, and man, did he have it working. Corey Lee here in the third, going down to the big 12-6 curve. Move things on to the bottom of the fourth. Runner on first, 0-2 Cantacaglione, 12-6 curve, good night. How about the bottom of the fifth inning? It's MJ Melendez digging in. 12-6 curve got him as well. That's the second out of the inning. Move things on to Nelson Velasquez, who grounds one over to first base, where Lamont Wade showing off the athleticism. Little spin throw to Dana, covering first base. On to the sixth now, where Corey Lee, you guessed it, goes down on the 12-6 breaking ball for out number 2, and then Michael Garcia gets jammed on the up-and-in fastball. Trapp puts that one away easily for the third out of the inning. As we move things on to the seventh, where Garrett Clevenger, the lefty, comes on here for Kansas City. Leading things off is Hassan Kim, as he's going down the left field line. The left fielder can't field it cleanly, so the fleet-footed Kim is able to get himself in with a double here to lead off the inning, and he had to stay out there for a bit, but then Nolan Shawnwell comes up and you betcha hits one down the right field line for another two-bagger, and that's going to make it a 2-0 lead here for the Angels on the day. As we pick things back up with Dana in the bottom of the 7th, getting the always dangerous Bobby Witt to ground out to shortstop for out number 2, and then Jack Caglione getting him to ground out as well for out number 3. Another clean inning for Caden Dana, as then with one out here in the bottom of the 8th, chopper from Melendez, beautiful play by Kim over at the shortstop position, as then Nelson Velasquez comes up with 2 outs. Little chopper through the middle, finds some grass, so that's a base knock, but it's only 1 hit. But then Blake Mitchell comes up, and he's going into the left center field gap with an RBI double, as that's going to break the shutout for Caden Dana. No CGSO for him, as it's only going to be a 2-1 game now, as that'll knock him out of the ball game, as the Angels turn to Jose Soriano, the hard-throwing right-hander for the 9th time this season, as he would proceed to show off that hard-throwing arm as he blows 100 miles an hour past Corey Lee for the 3rd out of the inning, as Ben Joyce then came on in the 9th looking for his 12th save of the season, and he would get just that as he locks up Caglione as he goes triple digits as well. The Angels with another 1-run win here, 2-1 over the Kansas City Royals, backed by the beautiful pitching performance of Caden Dana, who did get Player of the Game honors, 7 2/3, 3 hits, 5 strikeouts, no walks, and only 1 earned run given up. Shawnwell had himself a game as well, as he had 2 doubles and 2 ribbies driven in. Both runs were coming off of his bat there. Just an incredible performance from Shawnwell, and Caden Dana just basically a 2-man show carrying this team. I shouldn't say 2-man show because Ha-Seong Kim also went 3 for 4 with 2 doubles on the day. Alrighty, folks, as you can see, it is currently June. We are at the very, very beginning of June. 2 games into a 3-game set here against Tampa Bay. We lost the first game by 1 run, then we blitzed them 19-5 in the second game, and now we've got a McClanahan-Shane Baz duel in the 3rd game for the rubber match. But things have been a little bit better since we've last checked in. Last game we played, I believe, was one of these it was this Kansas City game, and then we went off, we had a little bit of a run here where we swept Kansas City. We won that series against Colorado previously, with Baltimore before that. Then we split a 4-game set with Seattle, which is always good. They're actually not having a good year, I'm seeing now. But then we unfortunately followed that up by losing a series to the Mets at home and losing a series to the Tigers at home. So we really needed to get back into the win column in the series regard here and win this rubber match. One thing that is really gonna have to start being thought at is, 1, Dylan Carlson. His time might be starting to run out here. As I mentioned, he is on the last year of his deal. We needed him to bang. If he's not going to bang, then it's going to be Reggie Coffey time, and I think we're starting to approach Reggie Coffey time because he is not banging here at the Major League level. And then Christian Moore. We want to give him run. We want to get him developed. He's developing across the board here, except for powers against lefties, which was, I think that was in like the 80s at one point. He's had like multiple regressions to that over the past couple of years, and all of a sudden looking not as good as he used to. At least now with the vision discipline is boosted up a bit, but still, he's not simming well, he's not playing well. He's got a horrible, horrible slash line for a 602 OPS. He might be approaching end-up quad A player, sort of player. That might be where he's heading with his career at this point. And we need some guys in the big leagues who, I keep saying, we need some guys that can bang. We need some hitters that can actually do some stuff for us. And if Christian Moore is not going to provide value for us offensively, he's sure as hell not providing value defensively, especially at a second base position. So we might have to start looking at some other possibilities offensively to help us here at second base. And now Luis Urias is an option for us there at second base. He is on an expiring contract as well, $10.5 million. He has been better, it looks like, against righties this year with the contact going up 1, but it's extremely, extremely small sample size. So we might make the shift soon to put Urias at second base, let him run there, and see how it goes. As far as guys in the organization we could throw at second base, there's like Vidal Brujan, who I'm not really sure if we want to run out there every day at second base as like an everyday player. Maybe we could try that, but, you know, He's a guy who has been hitting well in AAA. He did hit well for us last season as a bench player, so maybe we do give him some run at second base. He's an option for us. Peyton Eales was somebody we picked up in the offseason. He could be an option for us at second base. I'm thinking Matthew Lugo is really starting to get to the point where he's not really being looked at. He just hasn't really developed how you would hope he has, and he's down in Double-A now because that's where we value him among the guys that we have in the system now. Travis Blankenhorn could be an option. He's still hitting in AAA. He's doing his thing down there. 800 OPS down there. He had that very small sample size spurt for us last year where he was just absolutely on fire. 17 ribbies in 18 games. That is insane. We could maybe even go with somebody like Kendry Martinez, 20 years old. He's up in AAA now. He's like a shortstop, second base type, high contact vision, decent clutch too, so he could possibly be an option for us if we want to go that route. Another player that I wanted to mention is Robert Hassell III here, former top prospect with the San Diego Padres, then came over to the Washington Nationals in that Juan Soto trade, and he's a C potential guy in the start of this. The Washington did not bring him back. They non-tendered him. They decided not to bring him back. And we signed him not this offseason, but the offseason before that. And he's just been in our system here, chugging along in Double-A. He's a bit too old for Double-A, but, it's this game where, you only have so many levels you can deal with anyways, so 25 is really not that old, at least the way I view the progression in this game. But Robert Hassell, you can see here, he's been hitting so well for us that he is skyrocketing his ratings here. And he's up to a B potential. He was a C, now he's a B, because he's just been so good for us the past couple seasons in Double-A that all of a sudden, he might be kind of an option for us as a B potential. He's still only 25. Who knows what could happen with Robert Hassell here. Even turning into a bit of a reverse split guy here. You look at his contact versus lefties and power versus lefties. Those are both better right now than they are against righties. So Hassell, reverse split, can still hang against righties, obviously. Has some decent discipline, decent defender as well. He could be an option for us. And if you're curious what he's actually doing in Double-A, he's got an 885 OPS, he's got 6 home runs, 37 ribbies. He's getting on base a ton, 407 OBP. I mean, he's doing the damn thing down there in Double-A. The Angels back at home here in Anaheim, looking to take the rubber match here against the Tampa Bay Rays, as the right-hander Shane Baz is going to be the one chucking the pill here for the Rays, making his 13th start things off bottom of the first inning as Mike Trout's getting the action started by ripping one into left field with a one-out base knock. Brings up Lamont Wade, who goes into the right center field gap, and then Trout turning on the juice here as Wade picks up a double, and Trout's going first to home as the Angels strike first in this one 1-0, and they weren't done. Logan O'Hoppe going out to right field opposite way. This one's going to skip up over the wall. Ground rule double makes it a 2-0 Halos lead, as Shane McClanahan was the one throwing for the Angels on the day, making his 13th start here against his former club of the Rays. So in the top half of the second, it's going to be Lane Thomas going down the right field line. The Lane train with a leadoff double for Tampa Bay brings up Brandon Lau, who grounds one over to the right side of the infield. Moore knocks it down with a dive, but it's going to be an infield single, so runners on the corners as McClanahan then blows a fastball by Joe Adell for out number 1, but then Christopher Morel, ground ball to Wade, could have been a 3-6-3 double play. Instead, he muffs it and a run comes in to score. So it's a 2-1 ball game now. Move things on bottom 2 where Christian Moore comes on and rips one up the middle. So he's on first base, and then Nolan Shawnuel, you betcha, left center field gapping. Another 2-bagger for Nolan Shawnuel as this one scores more. It's now a 3-1 Angels lead. Bottom of the third now as Zach Neto chops one up the middle with a 2-out base knock to keep the inning alive for the Halos, then brings up O'Hoppe, who whips through a terrible pitch there, but Neto goes swipe second base, get himself in a scoring position, and then O'Hoppe puts the ball in play, finds some outfield grass, and the fleet-feeted Neto is able to score from second base, makes it a 4-1 Halos lead. McClanahan then, though, facing the lefty of Nathaniel Lowe, back with the Rays now, committing some lefty-on-lefty crime. A solo shot makes it a 4-2 ball game as they would take that into the bottom of the 7th, where Hunter Biggie enters the game And Christian Moore takes him deep 110 miles an hour off the bat, 434 into the left field seats. A solo shot for Moore makes it a 5-2 game. And then Kevin Kelly on the mound for the Rays in the 8th inning as Trout goes out to the Rays bullpen there. And another solo shot here for the Angels makes it a 6-2 ball game. Kevin Ginkel coming on as Ben Joyce had a bunch of games in a row, so he's getting the rest here today in the 9th inning. And with 2 outs, Brandon Lau having another solo shot in this game. We haven't had enough as he hits one way out of here into that tunnel in right field. Makes it a 6-3 game after that solo shot, but then Joe Adell, the old friend, cannot extend the game for the Rays as he grounds out the shortstop. As Ginkel survives the inning, and the Angels win this one by a score of 6-3 here over the Tampa Bay Rays as they win the rubber match, as they get their first step towards trying to right their season here and go on a run here the rest of the first half. McClanahan tops his former club. He goes 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 Ks, no walks, and 2 earned runs, while Christian Moore and Mike Trout both had 2 hits and a home run on the day. And then, of course, you had Nolan Schanuel doing his thing, as he always does, continuing to be a doubles machine. But with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here for this edition of The Angels here on MLB The Show 25. I've been your host, JerseyBorn, and I'm saying, why aren't you listening to Queens of the Stone Age right now?